What's up, guys? So back here in the shop, talk about some of China's greatest accomplishments, and that's partnering with VS Racing, making all kind of turbos and turbo accessories. So what I've got here are a pair of Billet 7875s from VS Racing by way of Shanghai. I'm going to go over them, take a look at them all, see what's what. We'll take them apart. Everybody knows that these turbos and turbo parts have a reputation for their quality control as far as machining, little bits and pieces left over by the guys in the shops that can put them together. So we'll take these two turbos apart, take looks inside of them, see if there's anything that needs to be cleaned out, put them back together. We'll go through the process. We will also be doing the same thing for the wastegates. I've got a pair of 50mm VS Racing wastegates. These guys right here, I'm going to take them apart. I can tell you just by looking at them that they do have metal shavings. No big deal. Not worried about it. Because another thing we'll be doing is going to be lapping the valves. Make sure that they seat really well. Want them to seat well. Want them to seat really well down here on the fire ring. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get these things apart. I've already loosened one of these. Some of you may have seen these before floating around on the internet, and you needing to clock them by just rotating the bolts around. Now they do still bolt together. They're not V-banded like a Bore Warner, but the bolts now hold some clamps, which I believe is going to go to an O-ring. So I'm going to get these bolts out. Anybody ever lose a 1/2-inch wrench? Never lost a 10mm socket. I've lost a 1/2-inch wrench. Luckily this is all metric. I spent 3 days looking for it. Still don't know where it is. I'm gonna have to go to the kids' toy box and look in there, see if I can find it. Never mess with you? Does it mess with your head? Phone. We're back. It's like magic. Alright. Rotate. See, now you can rotate it. It just rotates around wherever you want it to. So it's not just a fixed clocking anymore.
Dad, what do you want for supper?
Mommy knows.
But she said it was Daddy, so I know.
She knows. I already told her.
Okay.
There you go, fellas. This. Let's see if we can get in here and take a look-see. That's what everybody's wanting to see. This is the compressor wheel. 78, 75. So, just so everybody can see, nice Harbor Freight calipers that don't even reach. What is this in inches? See if I can do this one-handed. Yes, I know I need to move the lens on the camera. Alright, let's see if we can even get this around. There you go, fellas. And then the compressor outside, I can't reach. My Pittsburgh calipers won't reach in there to give you a measurement. Let's just say, we'll say 103, 104, probably even bigger. I don't know. I don't even know what that measurement means. These are freaking sharp though, I can tell you that. As in sharp looking. No, there's no issues with wobble. It is oily, a little oily surface. I don't know if you guys can see, but you can kind of see little bits of sparklies. Look down here in the compressor cover. Just looking for anything that's out of whack, anything dirty, anything in there that's not supposed to be in there. Frogs, little Chinaman, whatever. All right, now Gonna take the turbine housing off.
Stay. Stay. Good camera. Ah! Need a wrench.
Oh, and you know, I mentioned that there might be an O-ring. It's not an O-ring seal, it's just held together. Machine seal, whatever you call it.
It's not important to me, really. That's probably loud in the mic. Whatever. No, I'm not really worried about framing my face in this.
Turbine, so straight off she comes. So what do you think, boys? Does it look reasonable? Coming from a T6, this thing is so tiny. Alright. We'll give her a little look-see. Little looks over. Super free floating compared to my S400 Borg Warner. Okay.
Take a break. The oil inlet and outlet look reasonable. I'm going to take another look in here. See in here? This is just casting flash. I don't know if it's even going to focus on it. There's no apparent loose metals in the casting inside. It is well oiled with whatever oil that they use over in China. It's got that scent, you know. Okay. Carefully. Drop that guy down in there. Uh-oh. You hear the kids getting along?
Let's just line up together, boys. Here's this reverse. Threads are in reverse. Here we go. How about that, fellas? This is your billet wheel. Very nice machining. No funk on the back side of it. Maybe I got a decent piece, but I don't see anything that's just standing out to me as nasty. She does have some girth to it. Nice balancing marks on it. Looking inside, there's nothing really out of whack. I know nobody really takes them down this far, but just wanted to take a look at her. See what she's working with, what she's got going on. And take a look. Take a look-see down in here, and you can see the oil holes for the journal bearings. Riches. A 10! A 10! It is a 10. There she goes. Alright. This 10 is fully foul. I'm satisfied. I don't think I need to take it apart anymore. I said I would. Take a look at it on the inside of this. Take a look at the cartridge. And then we'll call it a day. I don't know that the other one needs to come apart. Not this far for sure. Keep it up, I want to end up with this thing on the floor. I'm sure this voids some kind of warranty. Whatever. If you can't take it apart, do you own it? It's one of AVE's things. And I fully support that. Look at this. This is really neat. It's got little cutouts in here just for fitting your box into your wrench in. So that's nice. Of course, now I got to use the opening in, but and no, you can't, or at least I can't fit any kind of a socket in here on a swivel and get this stuff done more better, more faster. So the goal with this project is to run 850s. We're entered in Limited Street, Rocky Mountain Race Week, which is in June. We are now in February. Valentine's Day is around the corner. None of my engine builders around here that build some high, well, there's a few guys around here that do some high-end stuff. I'm talking like Radio vs. the World, X275 guys, whatever. Engine builders and chassis builders and stuff. None of them want anything to do with this. This truck's too sloppy for them. They told me it'd take them a year to just do the wiring in it. I ended up doing it myself in 6 weeks last year. Well, my dad helped me. My dad pretty much did it. Let's be honest. He did all the wiring. I hate wiring, but I digress. So Limited Street has an 850 cap in the quarter mile. The truck thus far with a S400, an actual Borg Warner S400. It has been 950 at 140 mile an hour. It weighs 3250 thereabouts with me in it. You know, I think I'm making this thing more dirty than it was to begin with. I'm gonna have to really clean her up, just from me. This isn't from, not from China at all. It's all from me. So it's been 140 with me in it. With the Borg Warner, that was running about 22 pounds of boost with a Phytech fuel injection. I don't know if you're familiar with it. If you aren't, Google it. If you want to know why I got rid of it, Google that. Basically, it's got something ridiculous, like a 8x10 VE table that's near impossible to tune on the computer, at least for me. Maybe I'm just an idiot. I could never get my computer to connect to it. It's not that, it will run with Windows 10, but it's not great. Regardless, I'm getting off topic again. Pump gas, it ran on pump gas. Did a 950 at 140 miles an hour. So plans are to go 850s, and I know that this is overkill. I know these turbos are way too much to do that, but I want room to grow. I believe that the S400 is about maxed out on 20 pounds. It probably needs nitrous to go faster at that weight. It probably could use more timing, but I was on pump gas, and I was running 270 degree intake temps on pump gas. How about that, boys? It is a 360. Thrust washer goes all the way around there. How about that? This thing's beautiful on the inside. Just beautiful. I'm gonna put it back together before I screw something up. All right. So what I've got for an engine. So I broke this math down. Feel free to tell me if it's all wrong. Engine's 350 cubic inches. I built it like that originally, I don't know, almost 10 years ago now. More than 10 years ago. So that when I do pop the motor, I'll have room in the block to bore it out and clean it up and move forward. It's an actual 4-inch bore. It's not 30 over. It's not 60 over. It is 4.000 bore. Runs diamond pistons, Eagle H-beams, a cat crank from eBay that's got some serious welding on it to keep it balanced. But it is pretty well balanced. It's I have to get the balance sheet to tell you more about that one day. But it's balanced pretty well. I want to say the side loads on the crank are like 10 pounds at 10,000 RPMs. At least that's well balanced to me. Anyway, 350 inch motor, 22cc dish on the pistons. It's got track 1 Brodix heads, standard track 1 heads, 23 degrees, standard valve train for a small block Chevy. Runs a roller, bullet cam. It's about 243 duration at 50. The cam's a good bit advanced. just to help open the exhaust a little sooner, help spool the turbo, because I was using a pretty big turbo in the past for that motor. The motor itself, I think, is capable, based on, you know, cubic inches, compression, maybe 400 horsepower, maybe. More realistically, 320 to 350 horsepower. So, and then based on, you know, 20 pounds of boost, running 950 at 3,200 pounds, I'd say, I'm guessing that's around 7 to 750. I don't know if that's at the crank or flywheel, or I mean, at the crank or the tires. But, you know, if I'm going to use the same motor, it's going to need more than 20 pounds of boost. It doesn't matter what kind of turbo it comes from. So, knowing that that single 74 was out of steam, I'm going with 278s. Now, I know that this is going to be a little bit harder to spool, but at the same time, I got an automatic transmission, I got a trans brake. I may be getting a dump valve for it from M&M Transmissions. It depends. I've also got an old nitrous system up in the attic. I'm happy to throw a dry shot on there and copy Cameron and Matt on Slocking Mechanics. I have no problem copying what someone else does. I might put a 50 shot of nitrous on there and just run it on a switch or something in the truck. I don't know. I'm planning on possibly using the Holley Sniper system. It'll cut the nitrous on and off. Here's the thing. I know to get the power that I'm looking for, which is about 11 or 1200, that this thing needs, if it's making, let's say 350 horsepower, 300 horsepower more like, it's going to need in the neighborhood of 35 pounds of boost. So, that said, my long game plan at one time was to use the Holley Sniper, wiring an external map sensor, 3.5 bar, 4 bar, something like that. 3.5 will get me, I think, 36 pounds of gauge pressure reading. 40 pound would get me on up there, and or a 4 bar would get me on up there into 40 pounds, 43 I think. Hey everybody, so this is the commentary now. Apparently my SD card ran out of memory. I went on talking for probably about 20 minutes before I realized it in the garage while I was putting that one turbo back together. Long story short, I just took the cover and turbine housing off of the other turbo, and just everything looked the same, so I didn't take it down as far as I did that first one. I wasn't positive whether or not it was dynamic or static balanced, so I just left the other one well enough alone. What I was getting at is the Holley system, the Super Sniper that's supposed to be 1250 horsepower ready, 800 pound injectors, and 2.5 bar map sensor. Well, apparently Steve Morris engines and Holley themselves say that the system is not capable of tuning the fuel map above 16 pounds of boost. So I've gone through the Sniper software myself since it's a free download, and I've been able to edit the map and fuel side of the tables, the spark tables, all that stuff. But what I believe that Holley and Steve Morris were referring to is the y-axis of the fuel tables doesn't go above 210 kPa, which is 16 pounds of boost. And the onboard map sensor is supposed to be 2.5 bar. So I've been able to go through and edit that. I'll show that in another video. Until then, here's some few clips of what I've done with the truck in the past.